Hey guys, Somebody's Gun here. Today we're going to be breaking down and going through the top trio in EU. It's going to be NRG, Benjyfishy, 100 Thieves, MrSavage, and Atlantis LeTsHe. These guys have been absolutely killing it. They won all 3 rounds of the Amar Trio Cup. We're going to be watching round 3, talking through some of the key points, but mostly looking at how they take fights and engagements. These guys are really good at setting up a fight and then helping one another once they get in. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, feel free to like and subscribe, and let's jump right in. Alright, so this first clip is we're going to watch how they're setting up an engagement. So LeTsHe and Savage typically fight together, and then Benji flies around with the grappler. We see Savage and LeTsHe pushing this team. Benji's able to cut them off and slow down this fight and try and catch a player out, which he does. He winds up paying for it with a couple of tags back, but ultimately Savage and LeTsHe are going to be able to fight this. At the end of this, they wind up letting this team go. They must have had bad experiences fighting in the same spot in the past, so they don't get a quick kill here and just hop out. Now, I want to emphasize this because it's a key point as some of the top teams. It's knowing when to fight and knowing when not to fight. So these guys have clearly identified this is a poor area of the map for them and this rotation at this point in the game. So they want to get out of here and move on. So go ahead and look for other fights.
Oh my god, wait, it's just kind of weird.
So here's going to be another engagement. Again, going to take multiple different angles. Benji is going to have that ability to fly around with the grappler, and LeTsHe and Savage are going to get in an advantageous position. They're above on high ground. They force this team into a canyon, and then they're going to pressure from multiple different angles. So we'll see this time and time again, and it's a key to their fighting. Right now, we see Savage pushing and pressuring from one side, LeTsHe pressuring from another, and then Benji pressuring from this side. 3 angles of pressure, which make it much more difficult to deal with and defend if done effectively. And by effectively, I mean constant pressure and not allowing the team to see a weak point and go after one of you. So it could be very easy for this team in one of these boxes here to jump out and push LeTsHe, Savage, Benji, whatever it may be. But as long as you're controlling pieces and making sure you're not diving in, making a suicide play, you're going to be able to slow down the fight enough to where if your teammate needs your help, they can quickly be there. And that's exactly what happens. So let's go ahead and listen to this and watch this fight.
They're not good, they're not good.
Ready?
13, 20. Bro, I'm stuck.
Careful.
I'm on the ground. Oh, they sprayed me to my wall, man.
So just like I talked about, Savage quickly calls that he's hit. Benji and LeTsHe immediately hop on him to try and support him as a player and a teammate. This is one of the keys of their success, is their ability to support. So pressuring different sides can be dangerous if you're not going to be able to quickly get to your teammates, and these guys are able to do that. We see this, and it winds up working out. We'll see Benji again support LeTsHe in here. They pick up Savage, and then they make a play to turn this fight in their direction. Let's go ahead and watch.
Yeah. Bad thing, just...
Oh, this is pretty hard.
5 seconds.
Tough.
We got the res,
Yeah.
Need whites if you have.
I've got chug splash, that's it.
Joke click me once, Benji.
So let's come here, Oh,
Oh no! Oh, I'm dead.
I'm with you.
Oh, no, what the fuck?
Come on.
I'll just flip everyone.
Hopping a big.
Big.
I need to take high,
He's right above us.
Going high. I'm high ground, get up maybe. Get up, I'm on high.
And there we go. So Benji supports his two teammates when they're weakened down below. They're in a bad position because they're going to be cornered by the side of the mountain. So sometimes it's good to be next to a mountain. In this occasion, it's not, because it's one less angle you can escape from. And once everyone's healed up, Benji identifies, okay, we need to turn this fight in our direction, and I need to take high ground to start that. His teammates are obviously being pressured. The team is trying to push. The opposing team is trying to push and end this fight. Benji identifies, hey, if I take high ground, we can turn this fight in our direction and quickly win this.
Rewarders are gonna fucking snipe at us, man.
And it's not necessarily that height is what wins them this fight, because they're going to drop back down, but it's the ability to recollect themselves, gain the vision, and find out where these players are and force them into a smaller space, because those players are all going to come together. And then we'll see Benji, LeTsHe, and Savage once again put on pressure from different sides, and then once Benji goes to make a play, support him in doing that.
I think they're gonna be in our edits a lot, no?
Yeah.
I need you guys splashed.
Wait,
I
trying.
see one.
Wait, almost! 100! I'm almost dying, somebody top! I knocked one.
Take one dead!
Nice! Base! Okay.
Start raising. I got dead. All the
Best! Nice! The intro clip!
This is
Boom. Perfect execution. Again, pinching and colliding on the team as soon as they're trying to make a play. It's a play that's done together, which I don't think is talked about enough, because you can make plays, but doing so as an entire trio is going to be huge. So let's move on to the next fighting clip and show you some more Benji, Savage, and LeTsHe fights. Now, here's another example of a fight where Benji, LeTsHe, and Savage are spread out, giving themselves multiple angles to quickly pressure and eliminate opponents. From top down, it's going to be Savage, LeTsHe, Benji, spreading out, giving themselves angles. They're going to communicate this, shoot at a similar time to give themselves an effective play, and quickly win this fight.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if my league's gonna.
Can beam one sec.
Yeah, I try beam one. I'm behind them.
nice!
Good shit!
30. I'm finishing for you.
He's in storm.
So Savage gets a snipe here. One player's quickly dead. LeTsHe and Benji are going to hop on top of this other player. Then a solo is going to be out by himself, and Savage is going to do his best to separate these two, and it's going to give the advantage to LeTsHe and Benji. So LeTsHe and Benji's job is to be ending this fight quickly. Obviously, Savage is going to play super defensive. He's one of the best players in the game, but he's separating these two players, giving themselves the optimal chance to win this fight.
Bang him! It's only one, I think. Laser! Cracked!
Last guy's over here. Afterwards.
Dead! Nice! Good shit! Let's get on height. He's reload. Swing him out! Don't lie, LeTsHe. Swing him out.
Dead.
Fucking go!
Nice,
Good
let's fucking
shit.
go. Oh.
Nice. Good.
So once that fight began, those players had no chance to breathe. The initial damage was done. The player was sniped. The tags were sent in by LeTsHe and Benji, and then those players were on the defensive the entire time. They had no chance to slow down and heal, and that's a great work by these three in order to be able to effectively sneak and eliminate an opponent very quickly. All right, so we've seen them take different angles when they're going to engage in a fight. But here we're going to see them stick together, play as one, and try and take an engagement. When the engagement doesn't go exactly how they planned, they decide, okay, let's slow this down, be patient. We have the high ground position. Let's wait until we get an opportunity. So let's watch and understand that you don't always need to push a fight just because you get a couple tags or you see these players. You can wait for another opening and then restart the fight. But even if that doesn't go your way, you can find other options or just simply disengage.
We can just go on high and just insta one. You can maybe RPG one.
get go around maybe.
No, I'd just chuck him in. Or maybe you can RPG one. They don't even, they're fucking clueless.
100%, I think. Grab me? Fuck.
Careful.
Go down.
30.
He's going high.
Get high if you can.
I'm high.
No, I'm
I can touch flash.
Yeah.
So the start of that engagement doesn't go as planned. They're not able to sneak that team. But nonetheless, they're in a great position. They're on the high ground. The team's fighting below. They're all good.
Popping a big.
This is dropping and shit. What is this?
On you can triple spray this.
Okay.
I can RP.
I can't see them anymore. They were like underneath that stair. Just build.
They're under here.
Oh, grab me! Do.
So they continue to track this team that was below them. Savage is then able to find the opening that they were waiting for and RPGs two of them.
Shockwave, careful. On 30. He's on high. He goes shockwave.
Or still an elite agent.
I'm healing
Young Hyde
up.
is their teammate, I think. That guy's still on high, we can maybe kill him.
He goes shockwave though, just be careful.
He's coming down.
He drops. Did you do big LeTsHe?
Yeah.
The players disengage, and it's amazing discipline by Benji, LeTsHe, and Savage not to continue to push. It could be very easy and tempting after you hit a double RPG on someone to continue to try and push this fight, but they don't need to. They already have tons of elims. You want to play this game out, and you're in a good position. You don't know how long that fight's going to continue to last, so relax, slow down, play for the next zone, and make sure that you can walk out of this game with your life. So here's the last and final fight I'm going to show you from these guys. Once again, it's going to be the same things. Because of their consistency within fighting, that's what makes them so good, so I'm going to reinforce the heck out of these points. They rotate into the authority after going agency, and then we'll see Benji make plays here, grab pieces. They're going to laser a guy out of the air, but then there's still two more teams. It's one guy that they laser out of the air, but two more teams. So rotating into agency, they're going to immediately look to take high ground and then play this top down. That's going to give them the vision and knowledge advantage. They're going to understand where players are. And because of that, it's also going to allow them to take different angles. So they're going to be able to push from above and the sides as opposed to simply just playing box to box. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Trying to disengage.
Yeah.
He dropped down, east side.
Craig, stay away! What's he standing there?
Here's the card, I think.
Yeah, he's the
yes,
card.
I cracked one under him. There's two guys.
I'm on the loot. I got the loot. Go card, and
On me, one shot, on me, box.
what's one? Frag, what's he? Dead. Frag, dead.
Nice, good shit.
Oh, what?
Grab we don't have it yet.
I'm killing.
Guys, just chill.
I'm already dead.
Come on.
All right, so once again, another example. LeTsHe, Benji, Savage, all pressuring from different sides. A piece control that's able to help them quickly get shots on these players, not waste time shooting at walls. Then we hear LeTsHe calm, "Hey, I'm dead. Watch how quickly both Benji and Savage get to him.
Come to you, Sigmar.
I went for 50. I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, I'm killing.
Still on me.
Boom. Savage is now with LeTsHe. Benji is on the guy that was pressuring him. You can't ask for better support when you're getting pressured and taking damage than one of your teammates to come literally help make sure you're safe, and then your other teammate to go engage the player that was pressuring you.
Still on me.
And Benji's patient with this. He's not immediately going to push that in. He's going to wait, let his teammates heal up. He knows this is a solo remaining. Now that LeTsHe is right with him, these guys can end this fight.
It's a full trio.
It's a solo. Wait. One B.
Dead.
I Tony seal.
I have
Still
mini.
2 more people. I have a big pot. I'm dropping big.
Yeah, I need. Okay, mind up, be awful. Mind up. I need, right? Come back.
Right now, I'm dead. I don't need lights.
Okay. This is more going to be a mechanical show of what Benji can do, but nonetheless, he once again Savage is getting pressured. Benji looks to take a different angle to pressure the team, putting damage down onto Savage. He does so. Now look at this. Hits a shot on this guy, cracks him, cones him, takes another shot on him, tracks him through the builds and edits, then continues to move on to the next player. So Benji takes very little damage, but if we look down here, he's got no shotgun ammo, so he's going to have to slow this down.
Nice. Strike! What have you done?
One more.
More.
Give my face, you can.
And here, once again, I'm going to show you guys the 3 angles of pressure from these guys. It's 1 player remaining. He literally can do nothing when there's players pressuring from 3 different angles. LeTsHe drops on his head. Benji's pushing from this side, and Savage is coming through the other box. This player has no shot to make it out of here.
Holy fuck, man.
I saved this one for last because it's the most clinical example of them supporting, taking different angles to pressure one another, and then honestly just being beasts. Like, let's call it what it is. These guys are pretty damn good at what they do and understand the game, plus super mechanical. So not only is their knowledge top tier, but their mechanics are top tier and allows them to do this over and over and over again. So this isn't going to be them fighting, but it's going to be them making a play to put themselves in a position to win the game. So they are on the opposite side of 50-50 or 5th zone. They understand this team on height is going to be a huge problem for them when they're trying to rotate. Whether they walk or pad, this team on height's going to be able to continue to pressure them, and they're not going to be able to spend builds. So you have to look to make a play on this team on height, then take advantage of that to rotate. Now, they use this to go and eventually take high ground. You don't need to do this, but you can do something similar just to simply take high ground. Let's take a look.
If he does that again, can I just snipe him?
But we can't pad on him. He's way too high.
But still, stop them from shooting us. Hey, don't hide!
We pad it. Somebody plays.
Yeah.
We can actually land here.
Yeah.
We can't shoot on them.
They're getting ramped as well. Oh no, it's a different guy,
How did it?
Boom. A quick play and then quick reactions afterwards by the remainder of the team to make this play in order to rotate and do so fairly safely. LeTsHe takes a couple tags, but insignificant compared to what they could have been if they didn't snipe one of these players. So 1 player's knocked, 1 player reses, and then there's only 1 player left to possibly try and get shots on these guys. So let's watch this out. They're going to take high ground here. Honestly, not something I would recommend unless you're one of the top tier teams like these guys, because they know there's players already on height, and then they recognize players on the opposite side were ramping them. So you know you're going to wind up in congestion here and spend a ton of mats, and if you don't get these elims, you're not going to be in a good position as far as materials.
15. Nice.
Oh yeah, they're getting ramped.
I got one.
Yeah, come. I'm with you. Yeah, get LeTsHe, come here. Nice. I've got good loot. That's so good. Nice.
Good shit.
I have so many mats. Savage, come here. I dropped everything.
Wait, can we get high?
No,
we can't get high. I will touch it.
Thank you, Pop.
So boom, they relax. No need to play for height. You play for the elim that you get, and now you're in a good position. Solid materials. As you heard, LeTsHe now has full mats. Savage is probably looking pretty good. Benji's at least full metal. So good positioning moving forward. Now we're going to watch them once again communicate to make a play here. So they're about second height, and they're going to walk through a plan. So if zone goes a certain way, here's what our plan is. Our plan is going to be ramping the height team. Savage, you're going to do this. Benji, I'm going to do that. LeTsHe, you do this. And we can easily take height. Communicate it. Plan works perfectly according to what they planned out. So let's go ahead and take a look at this.
We can literally. I think we literally. If we get first movement, we could just start spinning.
We could just ramp them. I'm not betting. They're not even looking at us. I don't think. Well, they might be, but we can just literally just insta ramp them.
Okay.
Was ein schönes 200 FPS endgame, boys. My endgame is hard to move.
Yeah, if we are zone, if we are first movement, we got insta.
Yeah, you ramp. I'm gonna crank some 90s, okay?
Yeah. Going. I'm on high. They're cranky. They're contesting a bit.
Let it jump.
Nice.
Boom. Another perfectly executed play by these guys to go ahead, communicate what the plan was, especially if zone went a certain way. That happens. As a trio, they all go ahead, ramp up on height, and are able to take it basically uncontested. Maybe a couple tiles and builds used extra, but really not a contest for height. Easily taken by these guys, and something you guys can do yourself. Well, guys, I hope you were able to learn something from this video. These guys are absolute beasts when it comes to fighting and playing as a trio. So if you did enjoy the video, if you learned something, make sure to hit that subscribe and like button down below. I really appreciate the support. I'm going to continue pumping out videos like this. Hopefully a couple more coming soon. I do these VOD reviews on Twitch, so you can catch me almost any day on twitch.tv/somebodiesgun. And thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time.